Hey y'all, what's going on? It is the Coastal Critiques panel. We're back again to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 6, Episode 18, the reunion part 2. We're going to get into all things uncensored and extended. Let's jump right into it.
Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
Hey y'all, what's going on? We're back. We're back to discuss the show that just keeps on giving. That just happens to be The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, y'all. Whew, we are on part 2 now. We got one more part to go. I'll just jump right in and say that this part, I kind of have another, MVP this week for this second part. But overall, after a certain point, it was just a lot of just the back and forth, the over talking, the constant hypocrisy that was rearing its head after everybody talked. I feel like was just it's constant. It was constant throughout the entire thing. But nonetheless, y'all, we're here. We're here, and that is all that matters. Let me put our banner up here. Here we go. Oh, you guys are already.
I just realized what you got right there.
Huh?
Wait, AKA
Oh yeah, I was.
Not AKA Canouan project.
No, just a little, just a little humor. I had to throw that up there because, some people who there's a lot that meets. There's more than what meets the eye, I should say, but. Y'all already know, before we jump into the episode, we need you guys to like the video. We are streaming from both of our channels, y'all. So please like the video, subscribe to both channels, leave us some comments, share us with all of your folks. We're constantly down here giving you guys this good old commentary. So if you guys can just find it in your heart to do just those simple housekeeping things for us, we'd really appreciate it. We're trying to grow our channels in 2026. We're trying to attract new subscribers. We're trying to reach monetization. We're trying to do all the things, y'all. So please go on ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share. Please and thank you. And follow us on our social media accounts that are scrolling along the bottom. If you would like to bless us with a monetary donation, that is also very much accepted and appreciated. Our cash apps are scrolling along the bottom as well. So yeah, just show us some love, y'all. And if you are catching this and you're in the bushes, get down in the live chat. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this part 2. We'd love to know your thoughts on the season as a whole, as well as our commentary. Let us know the good, the bad, the ugly. Just keep it cute and respectful though at the same time. And yeah, who we got in here? Hey, Mrs. Wilson, Happy New Year to you as well. Kev is in here. Hello, hello, hello. Ken's, hi, how you doing? Happy Wednesday. And of course, my boo is in here. Hey, Nami, how are you? We love to see our faces. We appreciate y'all so much. How did you feel about this part 2?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you might. Oh, you were frozen for a second, but I can hear you.
I know. I did notice that. I was frozen and I couldn't see nothing. I still
I thought you were being still. I wasn't. I was too busy muffling my gums. I just thought it was you were just being really still. But I can hear you.
No. Okay, so my computer was acting up, so I'm gonna just go off camera for a little bit so that if it acts up, maybe it won't act up as much. I need a new computer, y'all. So hit the Cash App for sure, because dang it,
it almost back into the channel. Back right into the channel, y'all. Like I just said, we're trying to grow. We're trying to, think of different ways that we can come down here and continue to give you guys this good old commentary. We want to, of course, roll out some different types of content this year. There's a lot of new shows coming down the pipeline. We both love documentaries and movies and all the different things. So, we're always open to suggestions, etc., etc. But as it pertains to Salt Lake City, I enjoyed this part too, but at the same time, we did kind of dive into one topic that I just am completely over. And if you guys have been catching our previous recaps, our previous reviews, then you probably already know what I'm about to say, which is the playing gate of it all. I'm just, oh my God, what do y'all have to say about that? I know I was already over it when we were in the heart of the season, and that's because we're never going to completely get to the bottom of it. I officially know now that we're not going to see that footage. There was no footage apparently. So, why do we keep having to talk about this? Because these are, the cast is divided on this one, and this side is never going to see it from this side's perspective, and vice versa. I just wrap it up.
They have exhausted it. You're right. We can't get to the bottom of it. We haven't agreed to disagree, and Meredith is still going to minimize her involvement in it all, and even her trying to say like, no, I'm not saying I didn't do anything. I'm not saying that. Well, so tell me what you did then. Tell me what you did. So that's what I would have said. Tell me what you did. Since y'all keep giving Meredith the floor and keep letting her, well, let me just say this, before anybody speak, let me say this. And the last time she did that, she threw everybody off and did not answer the question. So let's not give Meredith the floor so much to try to make her comfortable, because she's been too comfortable. And a lot, like Heather's going to say, they protecting her and coddling her. So let's not do that, because that's making Meredith think that, oh yeah, I got this in the back. Her and Lisa, they both up there looking like, oh yeah, I'm playing it the way I'm playing it, and they can get as mad as they want until Lisa got mad enough. So we will get to that. But on top of that, the two of them look like the two stooges up there to me, because they really are feeding off of each other. And I'm not saying that's not a good thing. Do your thing. I'm not saying they're the only alliance up there, but when you make it just super blatant, it's like, come on now, come on. Yeah, I can't wait to get into it, because when they get on the phone with Red Cup Seth, I was outdone. So yeah, let's get into it, Seth.
Yes, let's roll it, y'all. Okay, so this episode, obviously, we jump right into it where we left off in part one, which is Angie whipping up this scroll. She loves the prop, so she passes the scroll on down to Andy, and it showcases that Lisa was apparently trolling her. Of course, Lisa's denying it. She's saying how, she loves that they're doing this, because that is 100% not her. Whitney actually chimes in, and because she wants Lisa to tell how, they figured out how they figured this whole thing out. That's a really important detail. So Angie goes on to say that she's convinced this is Lisa's phone number, and the password, the link to the password that was sent to the number, that is Lisa's cell phone number. And this account has been defending Lisa for the past 2 years, throwing shade at everyone else. And the posts always intensify when her and Lisa are in conflict. Very coincidental, right? So, and the timing of the engagement was sketchy. This account would, look at her story, for instance, and then 2 seconds later, she'd get a text from Lisa saying like, "Oh, like happy birthday to Electra." Or, she would say things that referred to the things that we're seeing in the story. So put two and two together, and then now they have this piece about the phone being linked to the account. It all comes back to Lisa. Lisa's adamantly saying that, no, that's absolutely not me. That's not true. That's not how it works. And y'all, when I tell you they would not stop, like up to the point that we saw this in the trailer. This is when Andy actually gets up and exits stage left, and they're all like, "Oh my God, no, come back, please stop." Mary's like, it's not funny. Andy, please come back. And he literally just walks just directly off stage, kind of like, and so he's like, you guys won't stop. Like, he obviously is losing control of the situation. So he winds up coming back on stage though, nonetheless. And the other part of it, or he asks Heather, like, okay, so was this the whole, on Watch What Happens Live, you referred to, the receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, etc., Lisa linking the information. So is that what she was referring to when Angie just brought this up or whatever? And Heather's like, that was a part of it. However, the other part of it, and shout outs to my little name that I want to go by today, the Canouan fraud port of it all, as well as we also have Lisa saying, okay, well, do you want to talk about the red rock and the pictures you have on your phone? Like, what about that red rock? What are we talking about now? And Heather starts talking about some rolling thunder. So then we have Meredith explaining how what they're alluding to is a photograph of her with someone that she dated when her and Seth were separated. They're trying to make a moment out of it. They're trying to make it, sound more salacious than it actually is. And quite frankly, Meredith doesn't care. It looks bad for them if it looks bad for anybody. And Lisa's like, well, why do you still have the photo, Heather? Like, why do you still have the photo if you're saying you're her friend? Like, make that make sense for me. And Andy's really just trying to understand the big deal of the matter, because like I just said, this is something that was supposed to have happened when Meredith and Seth were separated. So what it's of no consequence, really, right? Nonetheless, it's time to break for lunch. What do you have to say about this first little snippet?
I'm still laughing at your name. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, my loves. I didn't say hello because my computer was acting up. Hey, Kev. We understand you driving. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're still in the bushes. Thank you. I can't wait to hear some of your perspectives. I hope you are able to get to us and get to your destination safely. And everybody, my kids and Mrs. Wilson. Hey, y'all. So anyway, it's just funny that that Lisa was trying to be so stoic in this manner. Like, no, I didn't do it. Like, that's not my number. Yeah. It is so frustrating to find something out on somebody when people say, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Like, you don't have no proof. You don't have no proof. And then they bring you the proof and then you're still going to deny it. It's like, so why am I here? Why am I here trying to show you something that I know to be true when you're going to sit and deny it? Same thing Meredith is doing about Airplane Gate. It's like, we were there and you're still sitting here trying to minimize what you did. It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? So for me, she was called red-handed. It was funny. The way that she got so upset lets us know that it was true. As much as you scream and holler and all this, if the number if the password number came back to you, then that's what it came back to. It came back to you. It came back to you, Lisa, you. And so I just feel like we've been vindicated as far as us knowing that Lisa has a good time, not just stirring the pot, but she has ways of getting at women or that her co-stars in a way that they didn't think that she could do. And isn't that like almost the same thing as Monica? Like, what do we, girl? What do you think, sis? Do you think that she did that? Do you think that was do you think that Lisa is telling the truth, that still has nothing to do with her? Or do you think that Angie and them caught her red-handed?
I think it's undeniable at this point that, like, it's 2026. Everybody has finstas. Everybody has whatever you want to call it, these secondary, hidden accounts and stuff like that they use, especially when you are a public figure. You're going to have these different accounts so that you can, just be online and be, under the radar. So I don't think it's far-fetched for Lisa to have had something like that. I can understand how the timing of like the engagement and her reaching out and stuff like that, like it's all just very coincidental. And I mean, I can see that being true. It's kind of crazy though at the same time, because it's like, girl, like I would imagine that these ladies, being the business women that they are, would be too busy to do stuff like that, but that's neither here nor there. Or, think back to shout outs to Rodney the Voice, Gunica Garcia, who, took time or played a part in a social media like account and stuff like that. Like, so maybe Lisa's not lying and saying like, oh, that's not me, but okay, is there somebody on your team that was running the account? Is it somebody else? Like, because it's not unheard of for multiple people to use like the same accounts, or people to be on people's teams and, do their bidding and stuff like that too sometimes. So I do think that there could be some level of truth to it. And also, like, it's not even like they've dug really deep to find it out even, which, I mean, if you are going to do something like that, then Lisa, like, I'm gonna need you to come better than that. But we hear about celebrities and public figures doing this stuff all the time, and they get, outed or ever for being obviously behind certain accounts. This happened a couple of years ago with Erica Mena, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not far-fetched. People do it all the time, Lisa, and you may not be any different. So
that part. Hey, Yvette. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank y'all for being here. Kev, continue to drive safely. And where did I leave off on they went to lunch. Okay, yeah. So mind you,
wait, sister, before you go to lunch, did you see the way Lisa when she was when her Meredith and Lisa was in the back during the break, and she says to her, she said, did I cover every part? She, or
yeah,
doing mm-hmm. Oh, you about to, okay, I didn't know if you was gonna go into that part of it. So go ahead.
Yeah, it was really quick. We didn't have there was no like backstage brawl, didn't get too heated backstage, but we do see all these little sidebar conversations with one being Heather and Whitney pointing out how, Meredith hasn't came to Lisa's defense not one time. Like, what's up with that? Interesting, right? She just been sitting there chilling. Note taken. And then we got Angie, Bronwyn, and Mary over here, and they're also talking about Lisa and how she's just being very strange. It's almost as though she's trying to stay calm and use this as a strategy where she's going to be sticking to it throughout all three parts of just trying to be very grounded and not be as reactive as she normally would be. Speaking of Lisa and Meredith are over here, and just as my good sis just said, we have Meredith over here saying, or Lisa over here asking Meredith how it's going so far, like how do you feel? And Meredith is saying, she's doing great. She's holding her own. She couldn't get into any specifics though, because Lisa's like, what do you mean, like specifically? What are you talking about? And Meredith is kind of just like, yeah, She just gives a very blanket explanation, very vague, you know, very, very Meredith-esque. And at the same time, though, Lisa's like, you know, well, basically we got to get our stuff straight because we're about to get into the plane ride of it all. More than likely, we need to be prepared and all that, because at the end of the day, we know the truth. We know what happened, you and me. And them over there, the math ain't mathing too much though. So we already know that they're going in. That does kind of speak a little bit to an alliance. That does kind of speak to we sticking together through thick and thin. It don't matter what's being hurled our way. We are, you know, sticking true to it. So that's neither here nor there. They all get back onto the stage, of course. And I mean, for a second they were talking about the food. We don't, whatever. Who knows if it was real, it was fake, whatever. Plays camera action. We jump right into it, and we actually jump into the Mary of it all. They play her package, and you know, because the M in Mary stands for mediator. I have a couple people in mind that would probably think otherwise. They would probably say that the M stands for manipulator, but that's neither here nor there. And so,
minister,
manipulator, malicious. I'm just saying, I feel like there's a couple people out there. I mean, I ain't gonna name any names or anything, but I feel like there's a couple people out there that, you know, just might say something, you know, different. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, back to my notes. They play Mary's package. She gets emotional, of course, because a lot of her storyline this season, a lot of her real life revolved around her son and how sorry y'all, my notes, revolved around her son and, you know, the addiction that he is battling and everything. So Andy actually winds up asking her, you know, Robert Jr., like he's in jail from what we heard through the media and everything like that. She's like, yes, you know. Her whole thing is, though, no, is that in a perfect world, like, no, would it be like this? No, but at the end of the day, she can sleep a little bit better at night knowing that he is somewhere safe that doesn't allow him the freedom to access substances, and is somewhere where he, you know, forces him to kind of, you know, be clean, and forces him to really sit with himself, to, you know, find it deep inside of him to want to do better. She, of course, wants the best for her son. It's hard for her to you know, see him in there, and that's why she hasn't, you know, gone down there or whatever, like, no, we ain't doing that. But she does talk to him every day. And I want to say, yeah, Andy actually asked how it all came about. How did he all, you know, get into custody and stuff like that? And Mary actually said, and in the news, it said this in the news and stuff like that, in the articles and stuff, that he went over to his ex-wife's parents' home or whatever, because she's filed for divorce, and there's a restraining order in effect. And, you know, after so many times, the cops were, you know, called every time, you know, get away from here, restraining order, yada yada yada. But this time they wind up, you know, apprehending him, tased him, and he was taken into custody. Next month, he'll actually receive word from the judge on what more he has to do as far as his sentence and stuff like that. So that's where they're at with it. But one thing that I picked up on, I'm not sure if you did, but I did think that I always appreciate people being unbiased on things, as even if it pertains to people in their life. And I know I appreciated what she said, like, oh, because he, in his mind, he was thinking that the ex-wife wanted him to come save her. Delusional. I don't know what he thought about that or whatever. I appreciated her saying that, because to me, that just shows that, like, she knows, like, just because this is your son or whatever, it's just because it's your loved one doesn't mean that they can't be wrong. I feel like a lot of times people will just side with their loved one or whatever because that's their loved one, and, you know, then they go and move the line and stuff like that. And I try to remain objective in situations, because I feel like at the end of the day, we're all human and we're all able to, you know, commit wrongdoings. So I don't know. That's just something that like stood out to me real quick.
Yeah, I think Mary's on her tough love, and you know that's the next step after you finish feeling sorry and sad and empathizing with the person that is either on drugs or whatever the case may be, but usually the person that is have some kind of an addiction. So she's got to the point where she's at the tough love spot. So I like that about, like you said, her being in the truth, her also not just going to the jail, not just only because she's married, but just because sometimes they have to not be able to look at you and understand that, yeah, you put yourself here and it can be worse, but at least you can call her. She didn't turn her phone off to you. So, yeah, I just think that Mary's on her tough love kick, and he needs it. He definitely needs it. And I know I don't want to get beat up and hit in the moment right now. God is not enough for him. He hasn't even seeked him out for himself. He's been doing it for his mom. So he has to seek God out for himself. So when he does that, it'll come across. He will talk about it. It'll just be something that flows through him. And so that's probably going to happen too. And he will be able to have a testimony. Right now he's going through the test. So, you know, I can't wait to see how this plays out. And like she said, she's happy that, not happy, she can sleep at night knowing that he's safe in jail.
Yeah. You just brought up another good point, which is that, you know, at the same time, his relationship with God, like, yes, that could be just hinged on Mary / I mean, obviously, we know the documentary just came out, and, you know, we kind of are starting to form a bit of a big, more clear picture of the family dynamic and the whole shebang. Who's to say that, like, we don't know his relationship with God. We don't know his relationship with religion and all that. So again, yeah, he might just be, I'm not saying that he doesn't have some relationship or anything like that, or it can't be completely possible that he does have a genuine connection to his faith, but just, again, taking everything into account right now, like yeah, I don't think that's enough. And who's to say that, you know, he holds it as such a pillar in his life or whatever, or might represent something different to him. I don't know, you know, because again, I mean, his parents, their dynamic, like, this is a lot at play here. So we don't know what's going on in his head. I'll just say that.
Right. He might be having a conflict. He could, you know, just like with people, it always happens when people pass away, when they come to their demise, the family, you know, some family members, depending on who passed, they question our God. They do that because it's just like, why would you do that? Da, da, da. So he might be having that kind of conflict. Like, why am I going through this? Why am I addicted to this? And I serve you and I try to serve you, but you know what I mean? So we don't know, like you said, we don't know what's going on in his mind, but hopefully being away from his mom and her giving him this tough love, hopefully it works out in his favor and that he gets himself together, because being tased, that hurt my feelings. I was with Mary like, dang. You don't never want nobody to go through that kind of stuff, but I don't know why he would be going over there stalking his soon-to-be ex-wife.
I was just like, oh my God. But yeah, being tased isn't fun. Ask me how I know.
Oh, shoot.
Let me not just say that. Like, that it was voluntary training anyway.
Yeah,
no,
I think you didn't tell me that.
I would just want to do on a daily basis. No, so that sucks. It sucks that he's in. It sucks for him to be in the place that he's in right now, and we continue to, you know, uphold his name in prayer and wish him, you know, the best and stuff, and for him to get back on the better path. Robert Sr. hasn't necessarily been down there either. They did speak the other day, but I think, no, we can't 100% say that what their relationship is, them two, but we at least know that he talked to him the other day, and that he will be sending him some books and stuff like that. So I am curious. I am really curious about what their relationship is. because I mean, yeah, that's his. That's his only child, and we see, if you guys did watch the documentary, we know kind of how his parenting style was in the past. So I'm curious about that, but I'm assuming we'll never know because he ain't never gonna come back on the show. So anyway, something else that was interesting, and being as though I did just bring up the documentary, I also clued in, my ears perked up when she referred to her being kicked out when she was 18 because, you know, she just had her own mind and she was just on her own path in life and stuff like that. I was like, oh, interesting. So, I mean, she told the truth on that. So that's just to show you guys that there is three sides to every story. And, you know, we might see eye to eye on some things, but the way she probably looks back on it and the way that the family obviously looks back on it, interesting.
They said that when she was a runaway, she ran away a lot. So you can only run away so many times before your mama gonna say, yeah, you want to be grown? Go be grown. Go be grown.
She didn't deny it. So
I agree. I was happy she didn't deny that part. And I kind of, at first, remember we said we wish we would have waited for them to let the documentary. Well, we just wish the reunion would take place a little bit closer in the time that where we're at, and so that means if we were watching it right now, the documentary would have dropped, and we would have been able to go a little bit deeper with that. But I'm almost happy that we didn't, because without her knowing what was gonna be said, only what she thinks that her sister is gonna be said. Yeah,
tailor answers.
Yeah, I think that it would have been totally different, and she would have been defending more because she doesn't know what's going to happen. She didn't have to defend herself as much. But like you said, she did tell us something that was in the documentary that was the truth. So,
yeah, my ears definitely perked up at that. And speaking of it, like he even, you know, obviously Andy took a step further to kind of ask about like some of the bits that were revealed in the trailer, more specifically about her being, you know, her kink being money and whoop-de-woo. And he asked her, you know, how she feels about that. And she low-key called Whitney out for saying this years prior. But Mary does say that it hurt her. She says that she's been through a lot. She's pretty tough, but you know, she's just gonna file it away with the rest of the things that hurt her. And I'm like, that sounds about right. Okay. Wasn't surprised by that.
right.
She was very appreciative of the outpouring of love that she got, though, from her fan base and all of her supporters and stuff like that. And of course, then Andy asked Lisa and Whitney what they say about that, because they were two that were super vocal in the past about Mary's church and the alleged cult and all that pertains to that stuff. And Whitney said, you know, they're bad people that are doing this to her. Lisa also says, you know, that's old news. Like, we're not going on that anymore. And Mary actually says that there were negative things that were said about, you know, the church since it opened up, since her grandmother was in the picture and stuff like that. So again, some things that we can kind of match up to the documentary, some things that just give us some more detail to this whole, you know, married church situation, saga of it all. And it all comes down to, in her eyes, it being scrutinized because it is a Black Pentecostal church in Utah, something that a lot of the people around there don't really fully probably grasp the policies and the way that they do things and stuff like that. The Church of Satan. Oh God. Yeah. So then we get into that. And that whether or not.
Before you get into that, didn't Mary say that her grandmother went through the same kind of scrutiny too when she moved to church there?
Yeah, that's what I said. When it opened, went through this.
Yeah.
I was like, interesting. More. But all in all, we this is all said just for it to get brought back to Britney and her comment that she made towards Mary earlier on in the season about her being the least Christ-like person that she's ever met. And so Britney still is, sorry for saying that. She shouldn't have said that, because that would then make her very much unchristlike as well. We know that Mary didn't appreciate it. And she proceeds to fire the sentiments right back at Britney. Because Britney's whole thing is like, yeah, I'm sorry, but at the same time, like, you don't see anything wrong with, how you came at me. She's 10 toes down on her assessment of Britney. She's 10 toes down on how she's referred to Britney throughout the season and stuff like that. She said that she's not mean to Britney. She just responds to her. And Britney's like, okay, what about you saying, like, I'm not cute, I'm not funny, I'm just a friend, why am I here, etc., etc. And it's very clear that these are two women that aren't going to see eye to eye, and aren't just two people that would be friends in real life. So Mary, I wanted to ask, was Mary right about Meredith not sticking up for Lisa on the yacht trip? Because then Andy pulls that out of nowhere. And yeah, how do you feel about that?
What, that Mary stuck up for Lisa?
I wrote, was Mary right about Meredith not sticking up for Lisa on the trip? Yeah. I mean, I think this only just, for me, I wrote that, I guess, too, because going back to earlier, it's obvious, y'all, that throughout this entire part, at least, it does look like Meredith, or Lisa, sticks up for Meredith more than Meredith sticks up to her. I kind of understand now. I think I have like a solid theory on why. And I think a lot of us have said in the past that based on the fallout, based on some of the things that they, she screwed half of New York, that whole thing, based on all that went on between them, I don't think they'll ever quite be the same. I think it, again, is more of an alliance, more of a friendship of convenience on the show. Do I think that they're hitting each other up and going on girl dates and stuff like that when they're, on the off season? No, I don't. But I feel like that just speaks to the fact that in my eyes, I feel like Lisa's always going to be trying to be especially on her P's and Q's when it comes to Meredith and proving her loyalty to Meredith. Whereas Meredith on the other end she's never going to outright say it, but like, yeah, she knows that that's what it is between them. And she knows that, yeah, she's never fully going to forgive her for that, more than likely. And she probably notices that, yeah, Lisa is indebted to her. And yeah, she's never going to say that, but she'll definitely reap the benefit of it while refraining from reciprocating that same energy.
And Lisa's going to get exhausted. Lisa is going to get exhausted.
Around hot mic.
Literally, you don't let Meredith talk. You come in as if you was her girlfriend. Every time Meredith get ready to speak, like she gets ready to speak, and Lisa's voice, you just hear Lisa's voice come out. It's like Meredith just sits back and just says, "Well, I don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna play the part. I'm just gonna let you do what you want to do." Because for her, less is more. So in Meredith's mind, she thinks like, yeah, you owe me. You owe me so much that, yeah, I'm going to let you do it. But like I said, Lisa's going to get exhausted. And it's going to come to a point where she's not going to defend Meredith so much. She's going to get tired of doing it. Right now, it's to the convenience of their alliance, well, we know the truth. Long as we know what really happened. It's like y'all always make it seem so bad. Like it's like their cahoots is like, it doesn't even have to be that. It doesn't have to be. Y'all make it bigger than what it is to me. So it annoys me to watch Lisa go over and beyond for Meredith when she doesn't have to. You're sticking up for something that doesn't need to be stuck up for. And then on top of that, to watch Meredith wallow in watching her do that, it's like, ooh, girl, this is not pretty. This is not cute. I don't know I don't know where what's her end goal. I don't know where she's going with it. And the fact that even Lisa, like she tried to turn shit on Meredith. I mean, not Meredith, on Mary, when she was talking to Lisa was talking to, I think, Angie. And then they were talking about something about Angie, how, Angie and Lisa's relationship is not cool anymore. But then she turned around and Mary chimed in and said the same thing, like, yeah, but it was about Heather. Because remember, she said that she was whatever friend she is, not conniving, but whatever kind of friend. And then Mary chimed in and said the same thing. But when
risky friend or something,
high risk friend, yes, the high risk friend. And so to me,
she's an important friend. She's an important friend.
For how, Sway? How's that? Those two don't even go together.
She's the friend that you could benefit from. And I mean, flashback to her being at her events and different stuff, and she gets access to certain things. Because all in all, y'all can't deny the fact that these ladies, even still in this episode, were still propping up, Lisa and I guess Meredith a little bit to be in like the main center for
in the crowd.
Like, yeah, they're making them the it girls by, coming at them so hard. So if I was them, I would just ignore Lisa and Meredith then, if that was the case.
That's so true. But that's how Mary was. Remember, she would ignore them. And but now she like kind of, because she has some kind of soft spot for Meredith, because Meredith, she always says, well, me and Meredith were, Meredith has always been there for me. And I'm thinking to myself, a little bit, I don't know, because I still would love to be a fly on the wall to really know what Meredith and Lisa really thought about the church, and then after the documentary, like I really would love to really know what they really think.
Yeah, because they're obviously keeping it cute, and I mean, wait to get into a little bit more. Or no, actually, does it happen right here? I think it happens right here, where, because we kind of, it happens right here, because the conversation then turns to you guys. Like, the main points of this was Lisa's motherfucking sick of people her on goddamn repeat about the fallout between her and Meredith. They hit a low point, they're back, they're good. Like, why do you guys care so much? Meredith does kind of back her on that too. Especially because it's like, okay, you guys are all calling me a grudge holder, but you guys are still harping on this thing where, I've moved forward from it. So what does that make you guys hypocritical? But Lisa's like, or I should say Mary thinks that Lisa doesn't care about her. She thinks that, she's all about Lisa. Because one of the things that was brought up was like, oh, do you even remember when Mary like had your back or sided with you during the season or whatever? And I mean, I'm not really going to use that as is Lisa self-centered marker or not, because I feel like a lot happens during the season, and I don't really feel like that's a fair question, like, because you could forget anything. So I don't really think that was fair to be like, oh my God, like, if you forgot that one thing, that means you're self-centered. But I mean, obviously they're going to see it otherwise. The Marisol thing is like, we're talking about grudges, we're talking about forgiveness and all this type of stuff. Well, like, you brought Cameron on the show. Do you guys remember like the stuff that you said about my church? Like, are we being serious here? Because and then Mary does call Lisa very dark. And Lisa's not really understanding where this energy is coming from Mary. And quite honestly, I was kind of confused too, because Mary did start going hard for a minute. And I do remember even on the last episode, right? Was it the last episode or maybe the episode before that, when they were on a Greece trip, and Mary did say things along the lines to Lisa, like, oh, you're doing good, Lisa, or like she was giving Lisa her kudos about certain things during the season or whatever. And I feel like Mary, I guess to certain people, she might be seen as the MVP of this episode, which I will give her that. But does that mean that I sided with everything she brought up? No. I do feel like I have to be honest and say, like, because I said it's about other franchises. This is always my assessment of these shows, is that we don't like to see people harping on old beef. You can't sit here and say that you don't want to see people harping on old beef if you're just going to continue to hold these grudges. So if it's good enough for Meredith and Lisa, like, yeah, I don't see anything about it. Does your mind always go to the top of New York and she's the biggest whore? Like, does your mind still get stuck on that when you look at their, buddy friendship presently? Like, are you still on that?
Who?
You. I'm asking you.
Wait, like, I'm sorry, because people came in and I was reading, so I didn't hear what you said. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Ray all day. And hey, Lexi, Lena. Like, that's why I'm sorry. I was listening and then I started reading. I was like, oh, look at the people coming in. I love it. But
yes,
what was the question?
This is a point. But I'm meaning, are you still stuck on the whole, how could y'all be friends when Lisa, came at you so hard on the hot mic that time? Like, are you thinking, is your mind always going back to that when you look at this budding friendship between them?
No, I don't know, because I feel like they both said they both was mad at each other. And you say things when you're upset. And that's what happens. And then you either choose to apologize, accept the apology and move on, or you don't. And they decided to move on. So if they have decided to move on, why would that be in the front of my mind when it didn't even happen to me? I would just be like, well, they moved on. I'm not going to bring it up. That if I was in their friend group, I would just not be. I wouldn't even worry about it. It's been brought up a lot there in this episode, though. I was like, whoa, you guys are bringing it up like it happened yesterday. And I don't like that, because I feel like y'all trying to gasoline something that already happened and we've already moved on it. So why would y'all bring it back up? But maybe I think they're bringing it up to say, how are you guys so chummy after that? Like, because time heals a lot of things. Time
or friendship of convenience for the show. Like, what do we talk? Like, I think that's what it all comes back to. And it's like, I don't know if you call that breaking the fourth wall or what, but like, I that's just how I see it. It's like, at the end of the day, no, I can agree that was a big, thing to happen in a friendship. That was kind of significantly bad. I won't negate that, but yeah, with it being so many years in the past, and also because of the I think that these are all women that have learned how to get along to be along for the show. And I'm cool with it because it produces good enough TV for me. So if it's good for them, like I'm like Lexi said, like, they're good, so I'm good. Like, I'm not going to keep being like, how could you possibly forgive? Because I know at the same time, would I forgive her? No, probably not. We would never be cool again. Like, if you going that hard about me, but it's not me. So if it's good enough for Meredith, it's good enough for Lisa, I'm fine with it. I know that some people don't hold people as, accountable, or don't hold as many grudges as maybe I would, or the next person. So whatever.
Well, what it is Meredith don't think it's true. So in Meredith's mind, I'm not gonna get bent out of shape for things I don't think is true. So she said that even on this reunion, she said that. She's like, I'm not gonna lose. Basically, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over things I know is not true, and I'm not gonna respond to people in any kind of way when they're lying on me. It's like, okay, girl. Okay, because literally she really tried to take the power away from people, but we see you
pretty much. Exactly, Lexi. I wouldn't forgive them, but if they want to do that, cool. I didn't. Ray said, but Britney's nipple, they just let her be out like that. I guess I was taking notes too much. I didn't even realize.
No. Okay, I thought it was me. First of all, I thought it was like I thought it was like
here. Like on the top?
Yeah, was it something
I
sitting
thought that was
there?
the mic or something. I didn't even
No,
like,
they don't have mics on like that. I looked at
or
everybody's
I
outfit.
thought that was
Nobody
like
had a mic on.
nipple cover, or like a cake, like a paste. I thought it was something like that, like a silicone. I didn't even think too hard into it. Oh my god. Oh, that sucks.
I was like, is her boob not the same size as her nipples? Not centered. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're not centered, or she got a bad boob job, maybe, and the nipple sits a certain kind of way. So, in order for the boob to sit the way it needed to sit, it was a little bit of the nip out, just a little bit, not much, just where it starts changing the color.
I saw it. It didn't register that that's what I was seeing, I guess. Which we never. Oh, she doesn't have it. I still appreciated her look a lot more than some of the other full-time girls, though. So I mean.
Oh, Britney's look?
Yeah.
I like the way her dress was flowing on the side when they came back from commercial break and stuff. I was like, oh, that looks so pretty, the way it's flowing.
It came out the dress, Areola. Oh my god. Meredith did both of my Y'all are funny.
Ooh. I thought so too, right? That's so funny. I thought it was me. I was like, is my eyebrow tripping? I was like, and not that I need to see a nip slip because I don't want that to happen, but I literally thought the same thing you thought too. I said, is that a microphone? And I looked at all the ladies and I looked around and said, no, that microphone's on top.
Your undergarment or something. Like I didn't even think hard enough to think like, oh my god, that could be that. Well, that's crazy. Y'all, when we get back from commercial though, we jump right into Planegate. Let the clips roll. Andy, first addresses Meredith, of course, and Brittany by asking where do they stand today, and it's obvious they both agree that it's just not there between them. They're just two different people. And Brittany says that she brought up this alleged incident on Seth's behalf because to her it's important to be a girl's girl, but at the same time she also admits that bringing it up in a group setting like that was shady. So what are you really saying?
Which one were you doing?
But to this day, Meredith still hasn't admitted anything that she did was wrong. And, we have Lisa over here saying under her breath, they're leaving a lot out to Meredith. And it's very clear that everyone says they didn't believe the TikTok besides Brittany. And Bravo says a lot of times when Bravo. I must have meant to put Brittany. Brittany says a lot of times when you just get brought up in this group, it's not nice. So, Bronwyn says a lot of times, with relationships, or she says something along the lines of when it's brought up in this group, it's not nice. So it's not right that she did. Oh no, Brittany, not Bronwyn. It's not right that she did this, but it's not like the rest of them don't, flip out. And a comment that Brittany made on Watch What Happens Live actually is brought up because that's where she revealed that she has actual proof on Seth being unfaithful. And it was hearsay and not proof that would be upheld in court, she says.
Announcement. That was his moment.
Literally. So basically what had happened was Jared told her that that Seth said he had two girlfriends where he works, aka New York or whatever. And Meredith's like, you know what? At this point, let's just call Seth. Let's just call Red Solo Cup Seth. Let's get him on the FaceTime. Hey, honey, how are you? Oh, so I'm here at the reunion. And she proceeds to give him to download on him on this conversation, which he like kind of scoffs at. And it's like, oh my God, like seriously, are we for real? But not before momentarily Lisa takes the phone and she's like, can you believe it? Like, and she's like talking to him. Heather's like, is that your husband? Like, why are you taking the phone? They're all like, what the, like, it is her. This is proof right here. Once again, you are talking for her. Like, is this really happening in real time? Lisa does wind up giving the phone back to Meredith. And we hear from the horse's mouth that if anyone thinks, or if they can't tell that he's infatuated with Meredith, then that's not his fault. And he also thinks that if he's cheating on her, if these people think that he's cheating on her, then they also believe in Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, Bigfoot, and the Easter Bunny, all those mythical creatures. They must believe in all of those, if that is what they're thinking. Okay, bye, honey. Love you, miss you. Okay. And so, like Lisa's like, yeah, let's talk about other things that Jared said. How, how your husband points to Bronwyn, goes to Dubai to get ED meds and other things. Bronwyn says that she heard that Lisa told Brittany to make sure that was said on camera. And a couple times during this episode, y'all, we got unseen footage, to the point, at this point, I'm kind of like, no, you could have added some more episodes onto this season / cut out some other stuff, I feel like, because a couple unseen footage clips are like, okay, but when we're referencing all this unseen footage to make the story make sense, that's when I'm gonna need you to do better next season. Like, yeah. But
don't try to make your reunion better by doing that to us.
No, it's only gonna piss them off, because why you get a lot of this, because it gives context to a lot of the points that they're making. Bravo, NBC, whoever. So Lisa says that Jared brought this up at Amy's party, and Meredith does corroborate that. We see that flashback of Lisa trying to, ask Jared to come forth and say what is being said in this moment, of which he kind of, backtrack. He's not really trying to say it. He on good terms with Bronwyn and them. Like, he don't want no smoke. And we also have Brittany. She's not really remembering any of this. Lisa is telling Jared how, well, you said this to everyone, so like, come on now. And so I found it funny that Brittany couldn't remember that she literally said that Meredith has seizures. She tried to scale it back and kind of dress it up to make it sound better by saying, Olivia used to have seizures when she was younger, but no, girl, we don't.
It was triggering for me.
It was a terrible joke. I should have said it, but it was triggering for me. Okay, girl. But anyway, the number one question that Andy keeps getting, as well as the ladies keep getting, is why didn't anyone record what happened on the plane? Of course, Heather is not going to pass up an opportunity to, provide some detail by saying that, basically that would make them a piece of ish type person to do something like that. And Whitney, this is actually something that Whitney brought up when they were backstage and stuff like that. Like, why wouldn't we bring out the phone? Like, I wish, that's my biggest regret, not bringing out the phone. Woo, 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 woo. Heather says that, but they play some beautiful footage that actually goes back to 2 seasons ago, where, we have Heather in the bathroom making sure that she's pulling her phone out and providing all the in real time details as to what happened, and how we hear Lisa in the background asking Gunica if she took the ring and all that. Y'all remember when Lisa lost her $60,000 ring? Yeah. Heather was so quick to whip out her phone for that, but now you're sitting here trying to talk about like, oh no, we would be a piece of shit person if we did that when this happened. Oh no.
So you the piece of shit that did it. Okay. As long as we all know that that's what you're calling it. That would have made you. Okay.
So what you're saying is you're the piece of shit. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Brady's whole thing is, what happened last time? I pulled my phone out. Like, we're not going to do that. Y'all know what happened last time I pulled out my phone. I always keep this picture because we cannot.
I love that you keep this picture. It's my favorite.
We cannot forget this moment. Y'all remember what happened on that Sprinter.
Her skin looks great though. Her skin looks amazing on that picture.
Yeah, Meredith does have skin. She does.
That skin was skinning, baby.
But yeah, so Heather's adamant that they were, on Meredith's side. She flipped it, and it just took off from there. Meredith is saying, you know, at the end of the day, though, you know, I was very disappointed in you not supporting me, Heather. We see another unseen clip of them on the boat, and Meredith does point out how they were quick. Heather was quick to support Britani in that moment, of which Heather responds by, what did she say? I'm just trying to survive, or I'm just trying to get by, or whatever.
Like, what does that mean?
It was like a throwaway comment, of which Meredith does laugh at a little bit. So I don't really know how serious it was then, if you were able to just, you know, laugh it off. I mean, it could have just been like a sarcastic, like, wow laugh, but I don't know. I don't really know what that was supposed to illustrate, because it didn't really prove either point to me. But in this moment, she mentioned how Lisa had to tell Meredith about herself on the plane. And I'm not sure if you caught this, but it's obvious that Lisa, Whitney, it's obvious that everybody, when they hear their name being brought up, if it's something that doesn't sound right, they're going to shut it down in that moment. But I don't know if any of you guys caught when Heather brought up, like, you know, I said it, Lisa had to say something to you. Lisa didn't say, she didn't deny it, which would mean that you something did happen, Meredith. Like, it means that, like, I feel like that shows that Lisa knows that what the other side is saying is a little bit more true than what Meredith may be making it seem in that moment. I don't know. Maybe she was just trying to be grounded in that moment, but you see how every other time somebody lied on her, she was quick to be like, oh, that's not what I said. That's a lie. But when Heather said that, she didn't say anything. She was just like, and obviously we remember Lisa saying that earlier in the season, especially to John. And she was like, you know, I've never seen Meredith like that. But then she backtracked afterwards. So I just thought it was interesting that she did that right then and there. I was like,
they literally tell on themselves every time. You can always say, hey, Larger, my girl, happy 2026.
Happy
I've been missing you. My goodness, so good to see you.
Yes, you've been abreast with all of the Nicolandria tea, and I love it. Thank you for doing that. Doing the Lord's work. Jared, on. Of course, Jared's looking to get on. We know that. Like, he, by any means necessary, on this show. I don't like how they go after each other's marriages. And neither does Bronwyn, however, she keeps doing it too. Yeah, it's that's why I was saying, everybody kept in this episode, just like other episodes, one side, like, everybody can be held accountable for the same stuff and also dish the same stuff. Like, everybody's in the right and the wrong all at the same time, if that makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah, because they all point their finger at each other, but y'all keep doing the same thing to the same person that you point your finger at. It's like, come on, y'all. I wish you guys would just figure it out. I'm really getting tired of Meredith and Lisa. I'm sorry. I'm just getting tired of watching them two really, like, whisper to each other, lie and tell Andy they're not talking about who they're talking about. It's like, y'all are weird. Why y'all do that? So weird. Jared wants to be. Yes, he does. So bad. So bad. That's why he's living off his last name. He's trying to live off that last name so tough. He wants everybody to know that he's Jared Osmond.
Yeah. Like, what is his day job?
And he's always gonna love Britani. I said, boy, shut up. You don't even love Britani. You using Britani to get on the show. We all know that.
I hope she knows that.
She doesn't know that because she thinks he really loves her. That's what she said. She said he really. You never mind the last part. What he said. Just the first part. Just the first part of what the bear said. That he loves me.
I told you they're supposed to be engaged, so I don't know. That's the thing. That's my only caveat. Although I don't see it for Britani as a mother. Although she can be very annoying and performative, and I feel like that's why a lot of ladies, like, don't see it for her, because they know she's a performer, she's a singer, she's an actress, she does this. So I think a lot of times they just be thinking, like, you're just acting, so that's why they're not moved. But anyway, I have no issue with her being on the cast. I do still think she makes for good TV to an extent, and that extent being like Jared is my cutoff. Like, I don't want him to be the center of your storyline. I don't like when the girls come on here and like just make don't make your relationship your center pillar, but especially if it like ain't worth a damn. I put her over there with, if you guys watch Potomac, she's over there with Kay and Greg. Like, they're the main two relationships on these shows I don't want to see. Like, I don't care.
It's terrible.
No. You know what else is terrible? When Meredith said to Heather that she screeched at her for 2 months, and Heather just found it like so terrible to the point that she needed to say, fuck you, and that friendship is over, so buckle up, Meredith. It's not going to be a fun ride.
Sounds like a threat to me. Lisa, hey, Meredith. I said, damn, Lisa, can Meredith have, and can she respond? Can she have the moment? No, Lisa's just like, oh yeah, that's a threat to me. She's like, it is. It's a threat. I'm like, what kind of threat is that? Buckle up.
Goodbye.
Buckle up.
Oh, I can't believe I'm about to say this, y'all. Like, because some people might say I'm about to move the line, and I'm not. So I won't. So I want to preface it by saying, this doesn't mean I want to see this person back on the show.
I'm nervous.
But if we lived in a reality where this person was given the opportunity to be back on the show, because I don't hold that power, the only reason why I would be just 1% content with them coming back here is if they made it a mission to bring Heather down to the ground.
It must be Gunica. It got to be Gunica or Jen. Jen? You talking about Shaw?
That is Jen Shaw.
You talking about Shaw Amazing?
That's the only person who, if she had to come back into the fold because people can't seem to let her go, the only request I would have of her is to bring Heather back down to earth, because the pillar that she has been on and this whole trope that she's been on for like a handful of seasons now, ever since, you know, she's been on she's newly invented herself and stuff like that. Like, my gosh, like, it is so exhausting. And I just feel like Jen is the only person that we've seen on this show be able to keep her at bay, so to speak. Like, it is so ridiculous to me. But like I said, I doesn't want to see her. I don't want to see her. No.
She put a knot on her eye like this, and she didn't even bat an eye. Like, how you get that on your eyeball and you don't tell nobody? You hold the sheesh. That's the kind of credit. I mean, I don't know how she did that, and how you didn't touch Jen after that. How to clock Jen? And
you mean
you was
this eyeball?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This eyeball. Okay. Just making sure we're talking about the same eyeball. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
North members, let us never forget that moment. And that is why I said last week that she's absolutely the biggest liability on this show. Anyway.
Kevin's in the chat.
If two Karens, Lisa and Meredith on Reunion Couch was a thing here in America, stolen by colonizers. Yeah. And this is when Meredith, like I said, says the screeching moment. I don't know why Heather was so like just so dumb with Meredith in that moment over that. Like, I don't know what, but something cut out, because like, you're so mad that she said you screeched at her for 2 months. Wasn't that big of a deal to me, but whatever.
I think because like she said, they was really tippy-toeing around Meredith. Like, they was after Lisa. They was on Lisa, but they wasn't on Meredith.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That specific statement, like, I don't.
Yeah, that was weird. I agree. That was weird.
Yeah, that sounds like a threat. Angie jumps in to have Heather's back. And Meredith's whole thing is she simply wants to ask the group that, first of all, what she didn't deny is that something happened, but where they disagree is on what specifically happened. And Angie, I don't really have much more, honestly, to say about this, y'all. Playing gate of it all. Whitney, of course, she's chiming in to defend herself over this TikTok. And one thing that Meredith did say was like she got up. It was probably like an hour to landing or whatever. She got up and then she needed to like climb over Lisa because Lisa was sleeping, which is why she didn't say anything to her. Like, and so that's where she potentially could have like spilled some wine on her, I guess. It's again, this is something we're never going to get to the bottom of. And mind you, how they said that, I think I saw the picture of, yeah, I do. So Lisa Meredith right here. Yeah, so row 6 was either somebody else or row 6 was not technically supposed to be first class then, because how they said the producer, they're like, oh, well, the producers are behind you or whatever. And Andy was like, no, they were in a different class or whatever. So yeah. So it wasn't, I don't think it kind of looks a little bit different now in my head compared to what I thought it was based on this photo earlier in the season. I'm just looking to see if I have anything else significant in this playing gate of it all to really bring up before we get into the last bomb that was dropped by Meredith. No, I don't really think I have anything else to say about that unless you do.
Nah, I don't really have nothing to say about the
playing gate. Meredith,
tired.
Yes, me too. Meredith's whole thing though is because Andy asked her, so did you have a drink before you got on the plane? The way that Meredith skirted around this question and never came back to it was some top tier housewifing to me, because my goodness.
You know why she did that? Because she knows there's a follow-up question right behind that. How many drinks did you have? Where were you drinking at?
The fact that she was able to deflect in that moment, I feel like just speaks to the fact that this lady might not have been a practicing lawyer in a lot of years, but clearly she hasn't learned the trick of the trade, because my goodness, that was wow. Kudos to you, Meredith. That is insane that you were able to do that. Because I even forgot for a minute too that we never came back to it. I was like, wait, what? Until I looked at my notes. I'm like, wow, you skirted around that. She skirted around it because her main thing is we need to address why Britani and I have such a fractured relationship. And it's apparently rooted in something she addressed with Britani off camera, where Britani was very rude to her, and Britani, she's over there like, and she goes on to say that Britani supported a bigot. And Meredith begins to give us a rundown on how this person was a bigot. It was kind of a little bit more lengthy of a story than I really wanted to type out, y'all. So wave tops being this person was actually a nail tech that was doing Meredith's nails, I guess, at first. And this person said something along the lines of Jews are pedophiles that escaped for prosecution by fleeing to Israel. And there's an individual that reached out to Britani and Jared for a positive review, because they started to receive so many negative reviews based on them saying some wild shit like that. So Britani at the time, like, she was like, cool, yeah, she did it or whatever, only to then find out that according to Brittany, she wasn't aware of this. She wasn't aware that any of that happened until people started to send her posts and stuff. And she was like, whoa, what's up with this? She reached out to the person and was like, oh no, like, if you're on this anti-Semitism kick, like I can't, fooled it, deleting that, like, don't ever contact me again. She deaded it right there. But in Meredith's opinion, when Brittany never reached out to her, never said anything about it. She went up to a producer, I'm assuming, and was like, hey, this is something that's weighing on me. This is really bothering me. I feel like we need to address it head on, offline or whatever, so that it doesn't spill into the energy that is going to be seen when the show airs. Like, the viewers are going to pick up on like this hostility and wonder where it all stems from. So let's, squash it. And when she went in to do so, basically the conversation went nowhere. What did she say? The conversation didn't really go anywhere. And meanwhile, Brittany's over here. She's like, like shaking her head, like this is definitely not, according to her, how it went down. And so Andy actually winds up asking, like, Brittany, like, so are you anti-Semitic? Like, what is up with this? She's like, oh God, no, of course not. Again, like, she wasn't aware of this at the time. And also, since we're on the subject, like, you also got your nails done by this person. Like, you also gave them business or whatever. And Meredith's whole thing is like, yeah, that was before this all happened, like, obviously, and which is why it's such a big deal to me, because I have this person in my home. Hello. And that's why she
started fake crying.
Brittany starts fake crying because, according to her,
no, not Brittany, Meredith started fake crying.
They were both fake crying, in my opinion.
But Meredith definitely was. She was like, he was in my home. And then they go back to her. She was like this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Brittany's like, hell no. Like, I don't, fool with that pretty much. And she stands up to go on one of her, like, give one of her monologues pretty much. And she's like, I handled it the exact same way. Like, what, and when she found out, Meredith felt away. She cried. She like held Meredith. She's like holding on, like, she got Angie over here. She's like, using Angie as a prop to read. Like, Angie's like, how did I get into this? Like, this. And Meredith's like, when we talk, you made yourself a victim. Like, you always do, girl. Like, come on. Heather was like trying to screw up her face and like seem like she was about to cry or feel away or whatever. I don't know if anybody caught that. I definitely did. And Meredith's whole thing is, what did Andy say? He's like, has she ever said anything that's anti-Semitic to you? Like he's really trying to get to the bottom of this. And Meredith says that the negative energy that she's been receiving from Brittany pretty much from day one, she felt like it was very targeted. And Brittany's just had it. She's hysterical. She's crying. This is when we see her get up and walk off the stage. Mind you, no one gets up after her. Like I said, Heather was trying to screw up her face a little bit, but no one gets up and tells her to come back or anything like that. Because, according to her, she's sick of being ganged up on. She's sick of being low-hanging fruit. This is not fair. This is not equal. She shouldn't be treated like this. And she is just so done and so through. And yeah, that's where we leave off on this episode, y'all.
Who she been watching? Barb calling herself low-hanging fruit. Where's she? Where's she? Who she been watching? Why would you call yourself low-hanging fruit? You wouldn't. So I already know, girl, you've been watching everybody. But okay, I just had to get that out.
Yeah, she's not feeling it, y'all. It looks like in part 3 we're gonna pick up with the pill popping of it all. But
you mean when Meredith said she didn't say that? When Meredith said she didn't say that?
Oh yeah.
Meredith.
I'm never going to tell anybody how to feel or I'm never going to diminish anybody in their experience, because I don't want anybody to do that to me, especially in today's society. So I can't say that, like, yes, if it happened the way that Meredith said it happened, I can understand why she would feel away. But then again, at the same time, it's like they also pretty much everybody, when I say they, I mean everybody has to understand what they are expecting of Britney too at the same time, because it's like, if you don't see it from me, and you know, you've also not shown me a baseline of respect, then how can you expect that from the next person? Again, I'm not saying that it happened the way that Meredith said it happened or Britney said it happened. I'm just meaning, like, if that's kind of, it seems like that's a principle that Meredith was operating from, is like she would expect more from her or whatever. And that's not to say that Britney is anti-Semitic or she would do something like that, but there are people out here that, yeah, may be like that. Or if you already have, you just can't expect anything from somebody who you don't see it for or whatever. Like, we're not friends anyway, so why should you be that upset?
You're gonna high expectations, basically.
Yeah, expecting
these high expectations.
Exactly. You don't care about her though, right? So like, it shouldn't even matter to you that much or whatever. But I would hope that that's crazy. I don't see anything wrong with having a feeling towards a person that has said something like that you've had an intimate experience. No, I don't want to say intimate experience because that sounds like something else, but I mean, it is intimate to have somebody in your home who is providing a service to your body and stuff like that. No, that is, so there is supposed to be a level of trust or comfort that you guys have with the person or whatever. There's a monetary transaction, like, yeah, that's no little stuff. Like, I want to know the people that I'm giving my business to and my money to and stuff like that actually respect me and my background and everything like that. So that's wild. Britney, if she didn't deny giving the review and stuff like that, but that just shows on your part, stop being so naive when people are out here asking for your support, especially in 2026. Like, you guys got to do your research. Don't just sign your name on stuff. Don't just like be down for somebody for somebody. Like, you can't just, it sucks that you can't just do something genuinely nice and hope that it goes in a positive direction without knowing like where a person stands with their thoughts and stuff like that, especially in today's society when people are quick to not fool with somebody when they find out that they support certain people out here that are in positions of political power and stuff like that. So I don't see anything wrong with not wanting to fool with a person that has different views on certain things than you do. But that's why you need to do your research and understand who you're aligning yourself with. And I do consider aligning yourself being giving somebody a review, putting your stamp of approval on their service and stuff like that. Like, no. So Britney, don't be so quick to show support in those ways to people going forward. Because look,
my question is, if somebody calls me to tell me that, can you give me a review because I'm getting bad reviews? My question is, what is a bad review? I'm going right to the bad review. What's the bad review talking about? Or is it talking about your nails? Like, I need to know what's the bad review, because I think you're amazing. So I'm trying to figure out let me go look at what the bad reviews say.
That's doing research. She just was like, oh, okay. Post. Like, no, I'm curious, why is this happening? Also, too, at the end of the day, if I didn't get serviced by you at all, like, no, I'm not about to lie at the same time either.
Well, that's totally different.
To me, that's how you wind up buying bad wigs or bad hair or getting fucked up services or whatever. No, like, no, I'm never gonna be, because no, especially being in the beauty industry, being in an industry where like word of mouth, it goes a long way, like, and stuff like that. No, I'm never gonna, that might not make me a person that you want to fool with or whatever, but I don't just blindly support anybody these days. If you have a shitty product, if you're a shitty person, then no.
Yeah. But that goes back to all money ain't good money. So
exactly.
It's not. I mean, it's money, but don't make it good. I am a firm believer in that. That's why I've been in my business, the business I'm in the beauty industry for so long. For that same reason, I don't have to do everybody's hair. I feel like
parent.
It's a privilege to be touched by me. because I've been in the business over 30 years. I have touched a lot of people, and I take a lot of pride in my work. So yeah, it's a privilege to get done by me, not the other way around. I treat all my clients with the VIP, the stamp of approval. So yeah, I just don't understand how you would do that. But we're talking about Britani. Britani,
do your research,
Britani
girl.
was just excited that I think Britani was just excited that that was Meredith's tech.
And she was
somebody that.
Yeah.
That's all that was. But it still seemed like Meredith, if you so mad at Britani for that, didn't you bring him around? He came to you first. So you can't be that mad at Britani.
To even mention Jen Shaw to come back, Ross, like when Andy has made it crystal clear that will never happen. Let's not speak on the scammer who do frauds the elderly. Keep her away from over there. Yeah, I mean, that's just how I felt. So that's just what I wanted to say. But yeah, and if you I don't know if you were in here when I prefaced it by saying I of course don't want her to come back, but to speak to saying that if there's anybody who could check Heather, it would be her, was my main point.
Yeah, I agree with that, because clearly you got checked. You got eye checked. Not chin checked, you got eye checked. and then bat an eye.
But y'all, we enjoyed you. We got one more
for joining us.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. Shout out to everybody who came through in the chat. We appreciate each and every one of you. There's 65 people watching collectively on our channels and on X. So please be sure to come on over here, subscribe to the channels, like, comment, subscribe, share us with your people, do all the things. Our socials have been scrolling along the bottom of the screen, y'all. Let us know how you felt about our commentary and the episode. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.